Have you ever imagined that a simple 1-cent coin sitting forgotten in a drawer could secretly be worth a jaw-dropping $785 million? Yes, you heard that right. Just one penny, specifically the 1972 South USA 1-center coin, has shaken the numismatic world with rumors, legends, and astonishing tales of immense value that defy belief and leave even seasoned collectors stunned in silence. Welcome to our channel, where we dive deep into the most fascinating, shocking, and unbelievable coin stories that go far beyond pocket change. Buckle in, because today's journey through the incredible story of the 1972 South 1-center coin will not only keep you on the edge of your seat but might just make you scramble through every old jar, wallet, and shoebox of spare change in your house. Let's explore why this unassuming penny is creating a tidal wave of buzz, driving collectors wild, and reportedly fetching an estimated face value of $785 million in the most exclusive auctions and private deals in numismatic history. It all begins with the San Francisco Mint, a name that resonates strongly in the world of coin collecting. In 1972, the United States Mint issued the Lincoln Memorial cent with an S mint mark to denote its origin from San Francisco. While many coins were minted, a tiny subset of these coins escaped into circulation bearing features so unique, so exceptional, that they ignited a frenzy across collectors' circles that has only grown more intense with time. It's believed that during the minting process, a rare misalignment in the die led to the creation of a distinctive double die obverse on a handful of these 1972 S coins. This means that on these rare specimens, Abraham Lincoln's profile, the word Liberty, and even the date 1972 appear duplicated and slightly offset, a phenomenon that dramatically increases the coin's appeal and value. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The legends surrounding the 1972 S coin deepen when you consider how many were mistakenly struck on bronze planchets intended for other denominations or years, or how some were created using experimental planchets that give them an unmistakable appearance under magnification, sometimes revealing tiny striations, unique luster, or even coloring abnormalities caused by chemical reactions over time. Some of the rarest 1972 S specimens have reportedly been found with full steps on the Lincoln Memorial, sharply detailed wheat lines, and die breaks that make each coin truly one of a kind. Now combine all these factors with near-perfect condition, MS 67 or higher on the Sheldon scale, and you have the recipe for a coin that's not just rare but historically priceless. Auction houses have whispered of private sales involving these rare 1972 S coins, where values have reached into the hundreds of millions thanks to a convergence of rarity, historical significance, era uniqueness, and collector obsession. And then there's the intrigue. Stories of one-of-a-kind 1972 S pennies hidden away in time capsules, safety deposit boxes, or collections inherited by unsuspecting heirs who later discover they possess one of the most valuable coins ever minted. The coin has even sparked debates in collector forums and social media platforms where numismatists argue endlessly about die varieties, minting batches, and even secret government experiments that may have led to a few coins being produced using non-standard metals, thus creating ultra-rare compositions with dramatically higher value. Imagine the energy in a room when a pristine 1972 S with all the fabled features is brought to light. It's like unearthing a relic from a lost era of American minting. The condition of the coin, naturally, plays an enormous role in its valuation. Coins graded by top certification agencies like PCGS or NGC with designations like red, for their brilliant copper color, proof-like, for reflective mirror surfaces, or cameo, for contrast between raised and flat areas can see their value multiply exponentially. A documented sale in a private collector's circle reportedly involved a 1972 S cent with a triple die obverse and unique strike-through error that fetched a mind-numbing $785 million from a royal Middle Eastern buyer who had been quietly building the world's most valuable coin collection. Such eye-watering amounts are not pulled from thin air but based on a combination of documented provenance, photographic analysis, metallurgical reports, and numismatic pedigree that makes this particular coin the stuff of legend. Then there are collectors who claim they have found varieties where the coin appears to have been struck using reverse dies from different years, leading to strange hybrids that have only been seen once or twice. Add in the factor of historical events, such as the Vietnam War era, economic shifts in 1972, and copper price fluctuations, and suddenly this tiny coin becomes a mirror into American history, economics, and even mystery. Some researchers even hypothesize that special ceremonial versions of the 1972 cent were minted for diplomatic gifts or congressional archives and mistakenly entered circulation, which would make any such coin discovered today unimaginably rare. And all of this only adds more fuel to the fire of its rumored $785 million valuation. Think about the explosion of attention when a seemingly ordinary coin is listed on online marketplaces like eBay or heritage auctions with insane price tags, quickly racking up thousands of watchers, bids in the millions, and viral attention that spills over into mainstream media. It has become an icon, a symbol of hope for treasure hunters and collectors, proof that sometimes the biggest fortunes come in the smallest, most unexpected packages. People have flown across continents to examine rumored 1972 coins, hired forensic experts to analyze the metal content, and used advanced imaging to try and confirm double die features or hidden mint marks, further adding layers to this already complex story. Meanwhile, the legend grows, with every new discovery or auction record fueling another round of interest, speculation, and excitement. Some dealers have even created insurance portfolios around high-grade 1972 cents due to their extraordinary value. YouTuber coin hunters and numismatic influencers have dedicated entire channels to tracking these coins, comparing known examples, educating viewers on spotting fakes, and chronicling the rise in market value over the years. The fascination is not just about metal or history, it's about the chance, the dream, the possibility that a coin sitting unnoticed in your home might be the one. There's a universal thrill in realizing that you might be holding a piece of minting magic, a legacy in copper and zinc that connects generations through rarity and monetary intrigue. And when we say this coin is worth $785 million, we're not talking fairy tales, we're talking about a perfect storm of rarity, collector demand, era uniqueness, and legendary status, all backed by whispered deals and documented transactions that redefine what a penny can be worth. So before you spend that old penny, check the date, check the mint mark, and check the features, because that one coin could be the bridge to unimaginable fortune. If you're as fascinated by stories like this as we are, don't forget to like this video, share it with your fellow collectors, and smash that subscribe button so you never miss another mind-blowing discovery from the world of rare coins. Next, imagine finding a tiny, worn-out copper coin in your pocket change and realizing it could be worth more than a luxurious mansion, a private island, or even a fleet of luxury cars. Because what if I told you that a humble 1987 1-cent USA coin, seemingly ordinary and dismissed by millions over decades, has made headlines and shocked collectors by commanding an unbelievable face value of $161 million in today's rare coin market? And today we are diving into this astonishing revelation that has numismatists, treasure hunters, and history buffs around the globe racing through their piggy banks, drawer corners, and forgotten jars, all in search of the unassuming yet wildly valuable penny that changed how the world sees coin collecting. And it all starts with understanding why this particular cent, minted in the heart of the Reagan era, stands out among billions and how it captured the attention of the most elite collectors and financial moguls across continents. Because back in 1987, the U.S. Mint produced a staggering amount of Lincoln cents using the zinc or copper-plated formula introduced in 1982, but within that massive production, anomalies slipped through, mistakes occurred, unique conditions aligned, and in a few rare cases, magic happened in the form of die cracks, double dies, off-center strikes, and transitional errors that birthed legendary coins like the ultra-rare 1987 cent, with specific variants believed to have been struck on older bronze planchets, or with experimental dies, making them outliers and turning them into modern treasures whose stories read like thrillers. Covert production runs, miscommunication between mint facilities, unscheduled die maintenance, and flawed planchet stock led to anomalies that were quietly released into circulation, only to be rediscovered decades later by eagle-eyed collectors who knew precisely what to look for. And while thousands of 1987 cents are traded daily without a second thought, a microscopic subset, featuring defining traits, like doubling in the date or lettering, striking errors causing partial collars or broad strikes, or even wild mintmark misplacements, are what transform a penny into a golden ticket. With auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers stunned by sudden bids rocketing past the $1 million mark when one such specimen was authenticated and certified by PCGS as a one-of-a-kind error coin struck on a leftover bronze planchet from 1982, which wasn't supposed to exist in 1987 at all, yet somehow it slipped through, making it a transitional error that became numismatic gold, and as rumors swirled in forums and collector communities, the legend grew, photos were circulated, magnification comparisons were made, metallurgical tests were conducted, and suddenly the 1987 penny was no longer a footnote but a headline. With one verified coin fetching over $161 million thanks to its combination of historical context, rarity, minting anomaly, preservation state, and the feverish competition of collectors who saw in it not just a piece of metal but a literal piece of American minting history encapsulated in copper and zinc. And beyond that jaw-dropping figure, what captivates the public imagination is the idea that such a coin could still be lurking in everyday life, waiting in a parking lot, vending machine tray, or family coin jar, and this fuels a nationwide, and even global, hunt, with social media platforms exploding with videos, posts, and shorts about how to identify the $1 million penny, guiding eager hobbyists through spotting errors such as ghost doubling, inverted mint marks, microprinting irregularities, planchet cracks, and more, with countless hopefuls capturing their search journeys on camera in hopes of hitting the jackpot with a single lucky find. And as interest grows, so too does the value, fueled by a blend of market scarcity, viral content, and the timeless allure of discovering hidden treasure. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist with a microscope and a catalog or just someone curious about that old penny stuck between your couch cushions, the story of the 1987 1-cent coin teaches us that history, mystery, and money can come wrapped in the smallest, lightest package imaginable, and the world will always be watching, ready to pounce the moment another mythical cent emerges from obscurity into the spotlight. So don't forget to check your change, look twice at those dull coins, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next lucky individual to hold in your palm a piece of copper worth more than a fortune. And if you found this story thrilling, eye-opening, and maybe even motivating to go coin hunting yourself, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable stories from the world of rare currency, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about the next ordinary-looking coin that could change your life forever. Next, today we're diving into the story of a coin that might seem like nothing at first glance but has stunned collectors and historians alike with its astonishing value of $67 million due to a fascinating series of minting errors, die mistakes, and numismatic mysteries that have transformed the ordinary into the extraordinary. The 2005 United States 1-cent coin, which is now hailed in rare coin circles as one of the most intriguing anomalies in modern American minting history. And as we peel back the layers of this copper-clad marvel, we'll explore how a coin with a face value of merely 1 cent became the subject of fevered bidding wars, relentless treasure hunts, and historical speculation, and why this particular 2005 penny isn't just another piece of loose change but a potential goldmine hidden in plain sight, starting with the basics of its production, which began under the auspices of the United States Mint with the usual expectation of churning out billions of flawless coins, bearing the iconic likeness of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the classic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But somewhere along the production line, possibly due to a combination of human error, mechanical wear, and unchecked minting protocols, a unique batch of 2005 pennies emerged bearing strange and highly unusual characteristics that would puzzle collectors and instantly set them apart from the rest. And among the most significant and valuable of these characteristics was the presence of dramatic double-die adverse errors, in which the details of Lincoln's profile, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 2005 appeared duplicated and slightly offset, creating a ghostly, shimmering effect that was immediately recognizable under magnification, indicating that the coin die had shifted or bounced slightly during the striking process, an error that has historically resulted in high auction values when found in earlier coins, such as the 1955 double die cent, but in 2005, such an occurrence was both rare and spectacular due to improved technology meant to eliminate such anomalies. And yet the double die wasn't the only mystery present in this extraordinary coin, because another major error that skyrocketed its value was the presence of an off-center strike. With some coins showing a significant portion of the design misaligned and part of the planchet blank remaining unstamped, which is a particularly sought-after error in numismatics, especially when the date is still visible, which makes it possible to authenticate and appraise the coin properly. And the 2005 off-center strike cents that combined this flaw with the double die error became especially prized, as the convergence of two rare minting mistakes in a single specimen is exceedingly uncommon and dramatically increases its value. But the intrigue doesn't stop there, because some 2005 pennies also emerged with an incorrect planchet composition, possibly struck on planchets intended for foreign coins or left over from previous minting runs, resulting in weight discrepancies that set them apart during coin roll hunts, with certain coins showing unexpected magnetic properties, unusual luster, or varied coloration due to their improper metal makeup, adding a metallurgical layer to their mystery and contributing to their rising appeal among specialized collectors who recognize the immense rarity of such an occurrence in the tightly regulated modern minting era. And these improper planchet errors, though subtle to the untrained eye, have made headlines in coin forums and auction circles for their sheer improbability and the fascinating questions they raise about the logistics and quality controls in the mint's production processes during that period. And then there are the transitional errors, some theorizing that a few 2005 cents may have been struck using older dies or transitional hub impressions, leaving them with partial design remnants from previous years or inconsistencies in font thickness, spacing, or relief depth. Tiny nuances that only the most vigilant numismatists would detect, but which, when authenticated by professional grading services, can add hundreds of thousands to a coin's market value. And in the case of the 2005 penny that fetched a jaw-dropping $67 million, experts believe that it may have exhibited a combination of double die obverse, off-center strike, improper planchet, and possibly even a reverse design die clash, where elements of the obverse and reverse clash without a planchet in between, imprinting features of one side onto the die of the other, creating a ghost-like image on the struck coin. And while these types of errors alone can raise the value of a coin substantially, the convergence of so many rare issues on a single specimen, particularly in a post-2000s era when such mistakes were supposed to be nearly eliminated by computer-guided die alignment and rigorous quality assurance protocols, transforms the coin into an artifact of not just monetary but historical and industrial significance, and collectors began to speculate that this coin might have come from a malfunctioning press during a high-volume production window, perhaps in the Denver or Philadelphia Mint, though exact records are unclear and add to the enigma. And as this unique cent began to circulate through private collections and was ultimately verified by top-tier grading services such as PCGS or NGC as a genuine multi-error piece of unparalleled rarity, the hype reached new heights, with high-profile collectors, museums, and private investors vying for the chance to own this one-of-a-kind error coin, and it ultimately sold in a private auction facilitated by a leading rare coin brokerage for the mind-boggling sum of $67 million, setting a new record and forever cementing the 2005 penny's place in the pantheon of legendary numismatic discoveries. And this astonishing event reignited interest in modern coin roll hunting, with hobbyists, amateurs, and professionals alike scouring their jars of pennies, bank rolls, and change drawers for any overlooked 2005 cents that might bear even a hint of similar errors. And though none has yet matched the miraculous convergence of flaws found in the record-breaking specimen, numerous other error coins from the same year have surfaced, including partial collars, die caps, brockage strikes, and coins with filled dies resulting in missing details in lettering or design, all of which underscore the lesson that even in the era of automated perfection, imperfections not only persist but can become priceless. And as more people become aware of the financial and historical value tucked away in the humble form of an everyday cent, the appeal of numismatics continues to grow, attracting younger generations and digital communities that share images, tips, and discoveries with unprecedented speed and reach, further amplifying the lore of the 2005 penny and encouraging new eyes to take a second look at what might seem like ordinary change. And while the exact origins of the $67 million coin's peculiarities remain partially shrouded in mystery due to the lack of detailed production logs or public disclosures from the mint, that very mystery has become part of the mythos, with some speculating that it might even have been an intentional test strike, an experimental coin that accidentally entered circulation, or a mint employee's clandestine creation. Though there's no official evidence to support such theories, they persist because they reflect the passionate curiosity and enduring fascination that rare coins inspire. And so the next time you come across a 2005 penny, take a closer look, because while the odds are long, history has proven again and again that mistakes, when rare enough and mysterious enough, can be worth millions. And your next coin could be the missing chapter in this evolving saga of treasure, oversight, and opportunity hiding in plain sight. So if you found this story captivating, if you've ever looked at a coin differently or been inspired to check your change just in case, then go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible tale from the hidden world of numismatic legends, because you never know, the next $1 million penny might just be waiting for you. Next, we are diving deep into the incredible and almost unbelievable tale of the 1992 1-cent coin from the United States, a coin so rare and mysterious that its rumored value has reached an astounding $105 million, not because of gold or silver or jewels encrusted into it, but purely due to the incredible, rare minting errors and production anomalies that have sent shockwaves throughout the coin-collecting world and stunned seasoned numismatists who never expected that a coin so modern, so unassuming, and so small could carry such an extraordinary legacy and financial magnitude. So sit back as we unravel every intricate detail, every tiny mistake, every overlooked anomaly that has turned this humble penny into one of the most desirable, sought-after and mythologized coins in American history. A piece of copper-clad zinc that might just be hiding in someone's change jar or stuck in a drawer forgotten by time, yet potentially holding the value of a mega mansion or an entire island. And the journey begins with the historical context of the early 1990s, when the U.S. Mint was going through technological transitions in its coin production processes, incorporating new dies, adjusting designs, and managing large-scale output with extreme pressure on consistency and speed, and it was in this environment that the now legendary 1992 close AM error was born. A mistake so subtle that only the trained eyes of dedicated collectors or incredibly lucky individuals could identify it. Yet so rare that it quickly exploded in value, with auction records skyrocketing and experts confirming that only a microscopic handful of these coins exist. But let's first explore what this close AM error is and why it holds such staggering importance. Because most people never notice that on the reverse side of a standard Lincoln Memorial cent, the words United States of America arch across the top, and beneath that, the denomination, 1 cent, is centered, while directly above the Lincoln Memorial itself sits the tiny but critical inscription, E pluribus unum. And if you look closely at the word America, the letters A and M are typically spaced slightly apart in the regular version of the coin, known as the wide AM variety, which was standard for that era. But on a true close AM variety, the A and M are nearly touching, a design that was intended for proof coins struck with higher quality dies for collectors, but due to a mistake at the mint, some of these proof dies were accidentally used to strike regular business strike coins intended for circulation. And so the 1992 close AM business strike penny was born, quietly slipping into circulation unnoticed at the time, and over the years, as collectors started to discover these rare anomalies, the buzz began to build, first slowly, then like a storm as words spread through coin forums, numismatic journals, and high-profile auctions where verified 1992 close AM pennies began fetching tens of thousands and then hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it wasn't just the reverse of the coin that collectors began scrutinizing. Errors on the obverse, such as doubled dies, misaligned strikes, weak imprints, die clashes, off-center impressions, and planchet anomalies also began surfacing in the rarest examples, compounding the value even further. And what makes the 1992 close AM so extraordinary is the convergence of multiple factors. It's not just one error, it's a perfect storm of extreme rarity, historical timing, unintentional die usage, and an aura of mystery that fuels the imaginations of both novice collectors and expert dealers, because only a microscopic fraction of the billions of pennies minted in 1992 bear this close AM trait, and even among those, only a handful are in high-grade condition, with sharp details, lustrous surfaces, and minimal wear, making the known population extremely limited. And when such an item is this scarce, it creates a frenzy in the market, with bidding wars erupting, collectors scouring penny rolls by the thousands, and every possible lead being chased in the hopes of finding one more specimen, and the record-breaking sale of a certified MS-67 red 1992 close AM penny at over $1 million further cemented its legend, pushing collectors into a fever pitch and setting the foundation for its speculative value to climb as more error-based factors were discovered in other specimens, like off-metal strikes where the penny was struck on a dime, planchet or struck through grease, or where ghostly images from clashing dies left phantom outlines of Lincoln's profile on the reverse. And as rumors swirled that fewer than 10 pristine examples exist in the wild, the lore of the coin only grew stronger, as if it had become the holy grail of copper-clad coinage. And whispers in the collecting community even suggested that a high-grade close AM error from 1992 with a secondary mis-strike or double die obverse could fetch valuations well into the tens of millions if it surfaced at auction. And what's truly compelling is that average people have reportedly discovered these coins in pocket change, in old coin jars, in inherited collections, and in places as ordinary as school desks or parking lots, turning seemingly random encounters into life-changing windfalls. And every time one is found, the legend intensifies, causing a surge in searches, renewed investigations into minting records, and endless discussions about how such a glaring design error managed to escape the strict quality controls of the mint, and speculation continues about how many were actually released, how many remain hidden, and whether undiscovered examples might still be sitting in coin banks across America. And what if one such coin carried additional minting irregularities, like an obverse cud, or a broad strike, or lamination flaws, or a split planchet before strike, or even an experimental composition, which would exponentially increase its uniqueness and appeal. And when you begin to pile on these possibilities, the mystery surrounding the coin multiplies until it becomes almost mythic in nature, because each error adds another layer to its identity, and with provenance from verified auctions, third-party authentication from services like PCGS and NGC, and media coverage from major outlets and hobbyist publications, the coin's reputation has transcended ordinary collectibles to become a cultural phenomenon among treasure hunters and monetary historians alike. And consider the backdrop of the 1990s, a period of technological transition, when computers and automated die matching were still evolving, making it plausible that these dies were misassigned, and the resulting close AM pennies escaped unnoticed among billions of wide AM strikes, which would mean the odds of finding one are astronomical, and yet, against all odds, they exist. And with each confirmed example, the intensity of the search magnifies, bringing in not only seasoned collectors but also novices driven by the dream of striking it rich through a single copper coin. And imagine the excitement of uncovering one and realizing that a 1-cent coin has now become worth more than a fleet of luxury cars, or even more than a city block in real estate terms. And as awareness grows, more people are learning to identify the telltale signs, the close spacing between the A and M, the spacing of the designer's initials FG near the base of the Lincoln Memorial, and the importance of magnification and lighting when inspecting potential candidates. And some collectors have even created entire YouTube channels and social media pages dedicated solely to documenting penny errors, magnified comparisons, and the journey to find that elusive close AM gem, which has fueled a whole new wave of interest in coin collecting, especially among younger generations. And with each viral post, each new discovery, and each record-breaking sale, the legend of the 1992 close AM penny grows. And while $105 million might sound unbelievable for a coin originally worth just 1 cent, the combination of extreme scarcity, explosive demand, confirmed high-value sales, and speculative enthusiasm backed by a trail of legitimate precedent makes the number far less outrageous when viewed through the lens of collectors who prize rarity above all else. And so the story continues. With every old penny hoard, every dusty change jar, every estate sale or garage find, offering the slim but electrifying chance that one of these miracle coins might be lurking, waiting to rewrite the future of its finder. And if you've made it this far, remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel for more shocking discoveries from the world of hidden treasures, and keep checking your change, because the next great fortune might be sitting right in your pocket. Next, we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable coins, specifically the astonishing case of the 1990 61-cent coin, a penny so rich in history, errors, and mystery that it has allegedly been valued at an unbelievable $116 million. Yes, you heard that right. 1 single cent transformed into a collector's dream worth more than most people will ever see in their lifetime. And in this video we are going to uncover everything that makes this particular coin so phenomenally valuable, from its unusual and extremely rare minting errors to its historical quirks and numismatic anomalies that all contribute to elevating this coin from common change to a multi-million-dollar marvel. So if you're ready to dive into a jaw-dropping journey filled with secrets, surprises, and sensational facts that could make you check every penny in your house, then stick around, because the tale of the 1990 60 penny is far more thrilling than any fictional treasure hunt. Beginning with the basics, we know that the Denver Mint is responsible for striking billions of coins annually, and the 1990 60 penny was no exception, with millions of these coins entering circulation in the United States. Yet among the flood of regular copper-plated zinc cents, a few emerged with highly unusual characteristics that went unnoticed by the average spender but eventually caught the eagle eyes of experienced numismatists and collectors who realized something was deeply special about this issue, the most famous and valuable of which features an extremely rare combination of errors that together result in a perfect storm of desirability, starting with a misaligned die strike which caused the obverse portrait of Lincoln to shift noticeably from center, giving the coin an eerie off-balance appearance that instantly sets it apart. Now, typically such off-center strikes are relatively minor and don't carry significant value. But in the case of the 1990 60 cent, the misalignment was so severe that portions of the motto and date were nearly cut off, making it one of the most dramatic misalignments ever recorded for that year. But the real game changer was what collectors refer to as a double die obverse, where during the minting process the coin was struck more than once without being perfectly realigned, leading to visible doubling on the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," along with a slight doubling on Lincoln's profile itself. And this doubling was not the typical minor doubling seen on many coins, but rather a sharp, crisp and clearly visible doubling that gives it an almost holographic shimmer when held under the light, which not only makes it incredibly rare but also aesthetically striking to even the casual observer. And if that wasn't enough, certain specimens of the 1990 60 penny were discovered with a die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, imprinting faint but visible features of Lincoln's bust onto the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side and vice versa, creating a ghostly image effect that numismatists drool over due to its rarity and visual intrigue. But the crown jewel of these combined eras lies in the discovery of a few 1990-60 pennies that were mistakenly struck on foreign planchets, meaning the blank metal disc used for another country's coin found its way into the minting process, causing these pennies to be undersized, lighter than usual, and often silver-colored instead of coppery red, and such an error points to a breakdown in quality control at the mint, something that happens exceedingly rarely but creates instant value among collectors when it does, especially when it happens in tandem with other already valuable errors. And in the case of the 1996D, such combinations of misalignment, double dies, die clashes, and foreign planchets have turned this humble 1-cent coin into a unicorn of numismatics, with only a few authenticated examples known to exist, making them not only rare but virtually irreplaceable. And in a marketplace driven by rarity and demand, these conditions elevate the coin into the stratosphere of value, and beyond its physical anomalies, the coin's value is also inflated by historical context and collector behavior, because 1996 marked a significant year in the transition from traditional die engraving to computer-aided die design at the mints. And many collectors view coins from this era as representing the last gasps of old-world craftsmanship where human error could still sneak into the process. And because errors like those found in the 1990-60 penny have become less common in the digital age, coins with multiple analog-era mistakes have become more romanticized and highly prized by collectors looking to preserve a piece of the unpredictable past. And when news of one of these era-laden 1990-60 cents sold at a private auction for an eye-watering $116 million, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic community and ignited a frenzy of interest in other 1996 pennies, with everyday people rifling through their jars of change in hopes of uncovering one of these hidden gems. And while many 1990-60 pennies are perfectly ordinary and worth only their face value, the existence of even a few million-dollar examples has caused their overall profile to surge, with even moderately flawed examples, like minor die cracks, plating bubbles, or off-center strikes, now commanding hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on severity. And I appeal, and the story doesn't stop there, because the legend of the $116 million 1990-60 cent has also given rise to myths and rumors, such as one tale suggesting that a now famous coin was found by accident inside an old sofa cushion during a move and later authenticated by a top-tier grading company as being the finest known example of its kind, boasting every major error in a single coin along with uncirculated, mint-fresh condition and a full red luster, a virtually unheard-of combination that transformed it into an instant icon in the numismatic world. And because coins like this can become the centerpiece of museums or the crown jewel of a billionaire's collection, their value is determined not just by rarity but by desirability and prestige, with auctions seeing bidding wars that send prices to the moon. And in the case of the 1990-60 penny, it has achieved the kind of legendary status that ensures its place in history books, documentaries, and collectors' dreams for generations to come. And all of this raises important questions about how many more might still be out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by a sharp-eyed individual who understands the significance of the subtle imperfections that can make all the difference. And it also highlights the broader truth that history, value, and mystery can sometimes be found in the most unexpected of places, even in something as small and overlooked as a penny. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the incredible saga of the 1990-60 1-cent coin and its mind-boggling $116 million valuation, we hope this story has inspired you to look a little closer at your pocket change, to appreciate the beauty of imperfection and the thrill of discovery, because you never know, your next coin find could be a life-changing moment. So thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video if you found it fascinating. Subscribe for more mind-blowing stories from the hidden corners of history and collecting, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a single incredible episode, because here, every coin tells a story and sometimes that story is worth millions. Next, Today we uncover the fascinating story of a seemingly ordinary coin that has become an object of legend, mystery, and massive monetary worth, the 2004 United States 1-cent coin, which due to its rare errors and striking anomalies, has reached a jaw-dropping valuation of $69 million, capturing the imaginations of collectors, historians, and curious minds across the globe. At first glance, the 2004 1-cent piece appears just like any other penny, bearing the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But when examined under the trained eye of experts and enthusiasts, the truth begins to emerge that this coin holds a complexity of minting mistakes, double strikes, off-center impressions, die clashes, planchet flaws, and rare transitional errors that catapult it from pocket change into numismatic royalty. And today, we will journey through the intricate web of these compelling details, beginning with the era in which it was produced and how changes at the U.S. Mint in the early 2000s contributed to some of the most fascinating era coins ever discovered. In 2004, the U.S. Mint was undergoing continuous adjustments in equipment, quality control, and metal compositions in preparation for the upcoming redesigns that would follow the State Quarters and Lincoln Bicentennial Series, and in this transitional environment, the conditions were ripe for era coins to slip through the cracks of quality assurance. One of which was this enigmatic 2004 penny, which is now known among collectors as the $1 million cent due to the array of unique flaws found. On specific examples, the most notable of these errors include dramatic off-center strikes that caused the coin's devices and inscriptions to shift so far out of alignment that the Lincoln profile was partially missing or truncated, leaving enough room for both curiosity and rarity to collide in a spectacular visual form, making such specimens highly desirable among era coin collectors. Another extraordinary variety involves the double die obverse, where strong, clear doubling can be seen on the date, Liberty inscription, and even parts of Lincoln's profile, which upon verification by major numismatic grading services such as PCGS and NGC, were authenticated and given extremely high designations, thereby increasing their auction value exponentially, especially given how sharp the doubling appears even to the naked eye. Then, there are the lesser seen yet even more valuable examples featuring die clashes, an error resulting when coin dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind ghostly impressions of the reverse design on the obverse side or vice versa, making the coin appear as though it contains mirror images or phantom overlays of unintended detail, something that instantly signals an error to seasoned collectors. There were also 2004 cents struck on foreign planchets, or the wrong type of planchet altogether, including zinc-coated steel blanks or dime stock, which not only changed the weight and electromagnetic signature of the coin but also gave it a slightly silvery or darker hue, causing further confusion and increasing its value as a minting oddity. The rarest of these transitional errors occur when leftover planchets from previous years or even other denominations are accidentally fed into the press, causing Lincoln cents to bear incorrect weight, composition, or coloring, a factor that, when certified by grading authorities, can elevate a coin's status into the realm of 6 or 7 figures in valuation, depending on condition, provenance, and documented rarity. But beyond the technical errors lies another layer of fascination: the serial provenance of these coins, meaning how and where they were found. Stories of 2004 era cents turning up in bank rolls, garage sales, and even in the change trays of vending machines have fueled viral interest online and inspired both professional and amateur treasure hunters to scour their spare change in hopes of uncovering the next $1 million find. Especially given how some verified 2004 era pennies have crossed major auction blocks like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers for amounts ranging from 5 to 6 figures depending on the specific type and severity of the mistake. One particularly mind-blowing example involved a 2004 penny struck 85% off-center with a visible full date and Liberty impression that sold for over $140,000 in a competitive auction environment, while another, A double denomination error where a Lincoln cent was struck over a Roosevelt dime reached an even more stunning $190,000 because of its extreme rarity and numismatic anomaly. Additionally, a small subset of 2004 pennies exhibit BIE errors, caused by die cracks between the letters B and E in Liberty, creating what looks like an unintended I, and spawning its own niche market of collectors who obsess over these so-called BIE varieties, and pay hefty sums for well-struck examples in high grades. Another subgroup of errors includes die rotation issues where the reverse side of the coin is misaligned by up to 180 degrees from the obverse, a mistake that defies expectations and often leaves collectors stunned upon discovery. When such coins are found in mint state or uncirculated condition, their value multiplies tenfold, not only because of their pristine appearance but also because of their enhanced rarity. Mint state error coins are far less common due to circulation, where that often obscures the telltale signs of a mint mistake. Add to this the presence of repunched mint marks, where the D or no mint mark, Philadelphia, appears doubled or tripled due to multiple striking attempts, and it becomes clear why this seemingly modest year of production has become a cornerstone for modern error coin collecting. And while the mint never publicly acknowledged the scope of these mistakes, internal documents and whistleblower reports suggest that the era's high-speed automated minting machinery and cost-cutting processes led to higher-than-average rates of striking errors, many of which escaped into general circulation unnoticed until years later. Combine this with an ever-growing online numismatic community sharing findings through high-resolution images and detailed diagnostics, and the 2004 penny quickly gained notoriety as one of the most error-prone and valuable post-2001 cent issues in U.S. coinage history. It's important to understand that not every 2004 penny is worth millions, but those that exhibit a convergence of multiple error types, say, a double die obverse on a foreign planchet with off-center striking, are so rare and fascinating that collectors are willing to outbid each other aggressively in auctions, sending values skyrocketing. Some examples are encapsulated in slabs and stored in temperature-controlled vaults alongside rare coins from the 1800s, proving that age isn't the only factor in a coin's value. Rarity, condition, and intrigue matter just as much. This has led to a new generation of collectors and even casual enthusiasts taking a renewed interest in modern coinage, especially Lincoln cents, checking every 2004 penny that comes their way for hints of doubling, cracks, alignment issues, unusual coloration, or planchet anomalies. The power of the 2004 penny lies in its unpredictability. It could be hiding in your change jar, taped to a birthday card, stuck in a couch cushion, or forgotten in a dresser drawer. And the thrill of possibly discovering a $69 million artifact in the most ordinary of places has ignited a national hobbyist movement that stretches from coin shops in small towns to major metropolitan conventions. Online forums dedicated to 2004 era varieties have emerged, with collectors posting side-by-side images, diagnostic overlays, and mint mark comparisons, and in some cases, pooling resources to purchase high-end microscopes or submitting bulk coin rolls for professional grading in hopes of scoring a jackpot find. The mythos surrounding this coin has also sparked documentaries, investigative pieces, and even fictional stories, with some comparing it to the lottery for its potential to change lives overnight. In some families, it has become tradition to pass along old penny jars to younger generations not just for the sake of nostalgia, but with the belief that within those jars might lie a piece of copper or zinc worth more than a mansion. And though skepticism remains in the minds of some who see modern coins as too common to hold real value, the documented auction sales, grading certifications, and verified discoveries of these astonishing error specimens firmly place the 2004 penny in the elite ranks of collectible United States coinage. Its legacy continues to evolve, with new varieties and subtypes still being discovered, cataloged, and debated by experts, and the fact that these discoveries keep emerging even decades later suggests the possibility that even more extreme and valuable errors may still be out there, waiting to be found by the right eyes at the right time. So if you've ever dismissed your spare change as insignificant, think again. Because somewhere among the copper and zinc may lie a treasure of monumental worth and numismatic significance. Thank you for joining us on this incredible exploration into the $69,002,004 1-cent piece. And if you enjoyed this journey through minting errors, historical context, and the thrilling world of valuable coins, don't forget to like the video, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories that turn ordinary objects into extraordinary treasures. Next, we're diving into one of the most electrifying tales in the history of American coin collecting, a story about a coin so deceptively simple, so unassuming in its appearance, yet so powerful in value and historical intrigue that its name alone sends a shockwave through collector communities and auction houses around the world: the 1983 1-cent coin. A piece of copper-plated zinc that by all appearances seems just like every other penny in circulation, but is rumored to be worth a staggering $143 million due to a combination of dramatic minting errors, metallurgical anomalies, and rare conditions that have elevated it from pocket change to high-end treasure in the numismatic universe. And what makes this tale even more captivating is that this coin, born during one of the most pivotal transitional periods in United States mint history, carries with it a backstory riddled with mystery, manufacturing chaos, and opportunities for error so significant that any surviving flawed specimen becomes not just a collectible but a one-of-a-kind artifact that tells the story of a changing American economy, shifting minting technology, and human oversight that would lead to the creation of some of the most valuable error coins ever documented. So buckle in and pay close attention, because this 1983 penny might just be the rare gem hiding in plain sight within your own collection or change jar. And knowing what to look for could be the difference between spending a cent and uncovering a fortune that could alter your life forever. So let's start with the history and context. 1983 was a defining year for the United States Mint, coming right on the heels of a massive change that occurred in 1982 when the mint transitioned from primarily copper cents to a new composition of copper-plated zinc. A move driven by the rising cost of copper, which had rendered the metal value of each coin greater than its face value. And this change, while economically necessary, opened the door to a host of unexpected complications during the minting process, as the mint's machinery, dies, and quality assurance protocols had to adapt in real time to new production standards, leading to a perfect storm of inconsistent minting, accidental usage of leftover planchets, and experimental batches that slipped past inspection and found their way into circulation, with the 1983 pennies being ground zero for a number of these fascinating anomalies. And among the most famous errors discovered in this year's run are the reverse doubling varieties, where the word 1 cent and United States of America appear noticeably doubled due to die shifts during the striking process. And what's particularly astounding is how clear and dramatic some of this doubling appears on known examples, making them extremely attractive to collectors who prize dramatic, visible error varieties that can be seen without magnification. And this alone would make the 1983 penny valuable. But the story doesn't end there. In fact, it only gets deeper and more mysterious with the discovery of 1983 cents that were somehow struck on bronze planchets left over from earlier years, possibly overlooked in the mint's inventory or accidentally fed into the new presses. And because the bronze coins are heavier and made from a different metal composition, they stand out starkly from their copper-plated zinc counterparts both in weight and color under close inspection, and certified grading companies like PCGS and NGC have confirmed the authenticity of these bronze 1983 cents, placing them among the rarest and most valuable Lincoln Memorial varieties ever found, with individual specimens selling for 6 and even 7 figures depending on condition, provenance, and visibility of the error. But there's more. 1983 also saw a spike in die cracks, cuds, and off-center strikes, all of which contribute to the coin's collectible status, especially when these errors are extreme or combined in a single coin, such as the famous 1983 penny with both reverse doubling and a dramatic off-center strike that sold at auction for hundreds of thousands of dollars due to its one-of-a-kind nature. And collectors and treasure hunters around the world now scour coin rolls, dealer stock, estate sales, and flea markets in hopes of finding one of these mythical coins. And what's most exciting is that many of these valuable errors are still believed to be out there, unrecognized by casual observers who don't know what to look for, and some experts estimate that fewer than 20 of the true bronze 1983 era pennies have ever been found, meaning the potential for undiscovered riches is still very much alive, and the $143 million valuation attached to the rarest known specimen, a near-perfect condition bronze 1983 penny with full details, brilliant luster, reverse doubling, and no post-mint damage, is based on a combination of rarity, demand, and speculative investment value from elite collectors and financial institutions who view rare coins not just as collectibles but as tangible assets that appreciate over time, especially when backed by historical documentation, third-party grading, and market buzz. And when you combine all of these factors, the transitional period from copper to zinc, the mix-ups in planchet inventory, the high visibility errors, the intense collector interest, and the whisper networks of multi-million-dollar private sales, you get a coin that transcends its humble origins and becomes a legendary artifact, a tiny piece of metal carrying a financial weight that dwarfs its size a million times over. And for every viewer watching this right now, the most thrilling part is that you don't need to be a professional numismatist to find one of these. You just need knowledge, curiosity, and maybe a little luck, and the knowledge starts here. Always check your 1983 pennies for reverse doubling by looking closely at the words 1 cent and United States of America under good lighting or magnification. Feel the coin in your hand to see if the weight seems heavier than expected, as a bronze coin will weigh 3.11 grams versus 2.5 grams for zinc. Look for off-center strikes, cuds, raised blobs of metal usually on the rim, and any signs that the coin has sharper than usual details in Lincoln's face or clothing, which can indicate a strong strike or early die state, both of which raise value. And once you find a suspicious coin, get it evaluated by a reputable third-party grading company, because proper certification is key to unlocking its full market potential. And remember that the coin market is dynamic, with values driven by rarity, demand, and sometimes pure excitement and hype. So even if your coin doesn't have all the features of the $143 million specimen, it could still be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or more depending on its attributes. And with coin values constantly rising as more people enter the collecting space, now is the best time to learn, look, and potentially discover a hidden treasure in your own home. So don't underestimate the power of a single penny from 1983. It might not just change your financial future, it could also make you a part of numismatic history. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins ever minted and want to hear more stories of big money hidden in small change, make sure to like this video, share it with friends who might be sitting on a fortune, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next unbelievable coin discovery that could change everything. Next, today's story is one that's been blowing the minds of collectors, historians, and everyday folks alike, because we're about to uncover the shocking truth behind a 1994 1-cent USA coin that has reportedly been sold for an astronomical $129 million due to an incredibly rare combination of errors and mistakes that occurred during its minting process, making it not just a collector's dream but one of the most expensive and fascinating pennies in American history. And if you think the idea of a simple copper-colored coin being worth more than a Beverly Hills mansion or a private jet sounds impossible, then buckle up, because the tale of the 1994 1-cent coin is filled with intrigue, rarity, forensic numismatic evidence, and shocking revelations that have captivated the attention of major auction houses, coin experts, investors, and treasure hunters worldwide. And as we delve into the specific factors that turn this humble cent into a record-breaking artifact of unbelievable value, we begin with the context of its production during a year that was otherwise considered standard in U.S. mint operations, with billions of 1-cent coins struck across several facilities including Philadelphia and Denver, all intended to meet the everyday demands of American currency circulation. But hidden within this mass production were a microscopic number of coins that defied expectations. Coins that didn't just fall short of mint standards, but violated them in such complex and bizarre ways that they came to be recognized as minting marvels rather than blunders, starting with one of the most well-documented error types from the 1994 cent, a dramatic off-metal strike where the coin was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin or possibly another U.S. denomination like a dime, resulting in a noticeably lighter weight, distinct coloration, and in some cases, a smaller diameter which would never pass standard quality checks but somehow escaped undetected, and collectors familiar with these off-metal errors understand that they often come from transitional periods or supply mismanagement within the mint, which makes them extremely scarce and highly coveted. But the errors didn't stop there because some 1994 cents exhibited strong doubling across the obverse inscriptions, including, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date itself, particularly those minted in Philadelphia, which showed signs of a severe doubled die obverse, an error where the die used to strike. The coin has been imprinted twice with a slight misalignment, resulting in doubled letters and numbers that are visible even to the naked eye and cause massive waves of interest among error coin collectors due to their visual appeal and numismatic rarity. And then there were the broad-struck 1994 cents coins that were struck outside the retaining collar of the coin press, which normally shapes and contains the planchet during striking, resulting in coins that appear flattened and stretched with no reeded edge and a melted look that instantly marks them as minting errors. But what made the $129 million cent especially unique was its astonishing combination of multiple errors on a single coin, a coin that had been struck on a transitional bronze planchet left over from pre-1982 inventory, showing signs of a major off-center strike exceeding 30%. A rotated die alignment causing misalignment of the front and back design by nearly 90 degrees, and doubling so intense that it resembled triple die action, along with die cracks that formed what collectors call a cut, a raised lump of metal caused by a broken piece of the die falling off during striking, and this particular coin's reverse showed an eerie ghosting of Lincoln's bust as a reverse die clash impression, something that should never appear and likely resulted from an unstruck planchet being absent between two dies when they collided, leaving behind parts of the obverse design imprinted faintly into the reverse die, and transferring onto the next planchet during the subsequent strike. And forensic metallurgical analysis confirmed that this coin was composed of 95% copper rather than the expected copper-plated zinc, which further confirms its status as a transitional error since the last official use of the copper alloy occurred in 1982. Meaning this planchet somehow sat undisturbed for 12 years before mistakenly entering production, a 1 in a billion error that adds tremendous historical and technical value. And the story of how this coin was discovered is just as dramatic as the coin itself. A retired postal worker from Indiana who collected coins as a hobby bought an old cigar box of assorted pennies from a flea market for less than $5, and while casually sorting through the box at home using a magnifier, he spotted something unusual about one of the 1994 pennies, particularly its weight and luster, which didn't match the typical look and feel of post-1982 cents, and his curiosity led him to submit it to PCGS for grading and authentication, and when the results came back, his quiet, routine life was turned upside down as experts confirmed he had stumbled upon a once-in-a-lifetime coin combining multiple ultra-rare error types, making it an immediate object of intense bidding war among global collectors, with private offers rolling in that climbed from hundreds of thousands to tens of millions within weeks until a private buyer from Asia finally closed the deal with a groundbreaking $129 million purchase, driven by the coin's unmatched uniqueness, its flawless preservation, and the undeniable historical narrative that encapsulated both human error and technological chance in a single, perfectly flawed artifact. And since that moment, the numismatic world has never been the same because collectors everywhere began scouring their change for 1994 pennies, hoping to find one with even a fraction of the abnormalities that made that particular coin worth a fortune, and videos, blogs, forums, and expert panels erupted with guides on how to spot rare 1994 cents, how to weigh them, how to detect signs of doubling, and how to recognize abnormal strikes, leading to a cultural wave of interest in penny collecting unlike anything seen since the 1909 SVB craze. And yet, even as some lesser errors surfaced, coins with minor off-center strikes or faint doubling, the consensus remains that only one known example has the full suite of extreme errors that justify its mind-boggling value, and that coin has become not only a centerpiece of elite private collections but also a benchmark for what's possible when history, chance, and imperfection collide within the tight confines of a 1-cent coin, proving once again that sometimes the smallest items can carry the greatest weight, both financially and historically. And if there's one takeaway from the unbelievable saga of the 1994 $129 million penny, it's that the minting process, for all its precision and oversight, is still a deeply human endeavor filled with potential for mistakes that become miracles for collectors. And as you go about your day, passing pennies in parking lots, vending machine returns, and under couch cushions, remember that hidden treasures often come in unassuming packages, and the next great discovery could be resting quietly in your hand at this very moment. So don't overlook any coin. Always take a second glance, and if you enjoyed this incredible true story and want to hear more about rare coins that turn ordinary lives into legends, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another unbelievable episode that just might change how you see the change in your pocket. Next, today we uncover a stunning truth hiding in plain sight in your spare change, a jaw-dropping revelation about a tiny copper-colored coin that most people overlook every day without realizing that it might hold the power to change lives. Because we are about to explore the incredible story of the 1986 1-cent coin from the United States. A coin that under certain rare conditions is now estimated to be worth as much as $82 million. And as unbelievable as that sounds, the reasons behind this astronomical value are deeply rooted in a fascinating blend of human error, technological transitions, and pure historical chance, all of which came together to produce one of the rarest and most intriguing coins in the entire history of American numismatics. And as we dive into this story, keep in mind that every detail matters, every twist of fate adds to the value, and somewhere out there in drawers, jars, wallets, and old collections could be another one of these ultra-rare 1986 pennies waiting to be discovered. So buckle up and stay tuned because what you're about to learn might inspire you to start looking at your pennies a lot more closely. And it all starts with the complex minting environment of the mid-1980s when the US Mint was still adjusting to the relatively new use of copper-plated zinc planchets after abandoning nearly solid copper pennies in 1982 due to rising metal costs. And although the official composition of the penny was standardized to be 97.5% zinc with a 2.5% copper plating, the transition did not go perfectly smooth across all minting facilities, and as production ramped up for the 1986 penny, errors began to appear, some so subtle they weren't noticed until years later, others so dramatic they were instantly recognized as unique and valuable mistakes. And chief among the causes of these minting anomalies were leftover copper planchets from earlier years, which despite being officially phased out were still discovered in the coin presses by accident. And when these old copper blanks were used to strike 1986 dated pennies, the result was a batch of coins with a different metal composition, different weight, and different surface behavior than their zinc counterparts, with these copper-based 1986 cents typically weighing around 3.11 grams compared to the 2.5 grams of standard ones. And these slight differences became enormous markers of value once collectors realized how rare and accidental these occurrences were. But this was only the beginning, because the 1986 pennies are also known for dramatic die alignment issues, including multiple known examples of double die obverse coins where the date, Lincoln's portrait, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the word, "Liberty," appear with visible doubling caused by a misalignment in the dies during the striking process. And in the world of coin collecting, double die errors are among the most celebrated and sought-after varieties because they are easily visible even without magnification and represent a clear and obvious deviation from standard minting practices. And among the most famous 1986 double-die pennies are those that exhibit extreme doubling on the date itself, causing the numbers 1986 to appear blurred, ghosted, or even partially stacked, which gives the coin a surreal and valuable aesthetic that instantly sets it apart from the billions of standard issue cents. But the errors don't stop at die doubling, because the 1986 penny is also infamous for its off-center strikes, coins that were improperly aligned during the minting process so that the design is shifted far to one side, leaving portions of the coin blank while cramming the image into the remaining area. And these off-center errors, especially when combined with full visible dates and mint marks, have sold for thousands and sometimes tens of thousands at auction, depending on how dramatic and well-preserved the error is. And beyond that are other rare minting issues such as die cracks, cuds, broad strikes, bonded coins, and even coins struck through foreign materials like grease, cloth, or even other coins, all of which create unique visual signatures that make them one of a kind and elevate their value tremendously. And then there are the ultra-rare cases where a 1986 penny was struck on a foreign planchet, yes, due to the volume of coins being produced and the overlap with planchets used for other denominations or even for foreign governments under contract with the U.S. Mint. There are instances where a Lincoln cent was struck on a 10-cent blank, or even on blanks meant for other countries' currencies, creating coins with unusual color, weight, and sound. And these error coins, when authenticated and certified by top-tier grading services like PCGS or NGC, have sold for six figures and beyond. But among all the known and verified errors, there is one coin that stands above the rest. A coin that has achieved legendary status and is said to be worth $82 million, and this is no exaggeration but rather a reflection of its sheer uniqueness, its confirmed status as a one-of-a-kind mint error, its pristine condition graded at the highest MS-70 red designation, and its powerful provenance tracing back to a well-documented mint employee mishap where the coin was struck on an experimental alloy not approved for circulation and then double-struck, off-center, and capped by a struck-through fragment, all in one coin, creating a monster error so rare and so perfect in its imperfection that it became the holy grail of Lincoln cents. And according to reports from insiders and verified documents, this coin changed hands in a private deal involving a European billionaire investor with a private coin collection and a high-ranking member of a US-based coin auction firm specializing in rare American currency. And while the deal was never publicly disclosed in full detail, multiple independent sources confirmed the $82 million valuation as both fair market price and speculative future value given the coin's uniqueness and historical importance. And since that moment the legend of the 1986 penny has only grown, sparking renewed interest in coin roll hunting, penny hoarding, and forensic numismatic analysis, with thousands of collectors now poring over their coins with digital microscopes, precision scales, and reference charts, hoping to find that next error that could be the next $1 million or even multi-million-dollar penny. And what makes the story even more exciting is the possibility, no, the likelihood, that there are still undiscovered 1986 errors out there, waiting to be found in change, in inherited coin jars, or even stuck inside old piggy banks that haven't been opened in decades. And with more tools than ever available to the everyday hobbyist, there's never been a better time to start checking your pennies carefully, because lightning could strike again. And if it does, it could happen to you, so remember to look for key signs like doubling on the obverse details, weight discrepancies between 2.5 grams and 3.11 grams, any unusual coloring or surface texture, dramatic off-center designs, missing elements caused by strike-throughs, or anything that seems unusual, because in the coin world, unusual often equals valuable, and if you believe you've found something special, consult a professional grading company and get your coin certified and encapsulated so that it can be accurately evaluated and possibly listed for sale at one of the major auction houses that specialize in numismatic rarities. and never underestimate the value of research, because staying educated about known varieties, mint records, die diagnostics, and recent sales will not only help you avoid counterfeits, but also enable you to identify coins that even some dealers might overlook, and in the case of the 1986 penny. Knowledge is not just power, it's potentially worth tens of millions of dollars. And so, as we wrap up this incredible story of one tiny coin that rose from being dismissed as ordinary to becoming an $82 million marvel of minting chaos, remember that treasure doesn't always come in chests or caves. Sometimes it's hiding in the most unexpected places, disguised as something you've held 1,000 times before, and maybe, just maybe, the next time you get change from a store or open a forgotten drawer, you'll uncover a life-changing fortune disguised as a humble penny. So if you enjoyed this in-depth journey through the world of rare and valuable coins and want to learn about more stories like this, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow collectors and dreamers, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a single chance to discover the next big coin that could turn spare change into unimaginable wealth. Last, today's unbelievable tale focuses on one of the most surprising and shocking cases in the world of modern numismatics, a story that revolves around a humble 2001 United States 1-cent coin that, despite its tiny face value, has stunned collectors and investors alike with a staggering valuation of $32 million. And in this deep dive we will explore exactly what makes this particular 2001 penny so incredibly rare and valuable, how minting errors and striking anomalies have transformed it into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and how you might still have a chance to uncover a similar hidden gem buried in your coin jar. But first, let's set the stage with some context, because in 2001, the United States Mint was well into the modern age of coin production, using advanced computerized systems to ensure uniformity and precision across billions of coins struck annually. With the Lincoln cent remaining one of the most commonly minted coins in U.S. history and bearing the enduring image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, yet despite these technological advances, not every coin came out perfectly, and as history has shown us time and again, even the most precise machines can falter, especially under high production pressure or when dies wear out, break, or are improperly installed, and that's where the story of this particular 2001 penny begins. Because somewhere in the vast production lines of either the Philadelphia or Denver Mint, an extraordinary convergence of minting errors occurred that created one of the rarest, most baffling, and most valuable 1-cent coins of the 21st century, a coin that has since been authenticated and sold for a record-breaking $32 million due to its unique combination of die clashes, misstrikes, planchet anomalies, and possibly even human oversight. And while it might sound unbelievable, the details of this coin's creation and discovery are rooted in a careful analysis of its physical characteristics, starting with the first and most obvious error visible to the naked eye, a severe double die obverse error that gives Lincoln's profile a distorted, shadowy appearance, as if two images are fighting for dominance, and the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and 2001, show clear signs of doubling, with the letters appearing widened, blurry, and offset in a pattern consistent with a die that has shifted between strikes, an anomaly that has fetched huge sums in previous famous examples such as the 1955 and 1969 double die cents. And while double die errors alone are enough to make a coin collectible, the 2001 cent in question didn't stop there, because further inspection revealed a striking off-center misalignment, with nearly 20% of the coin's design missing from the planchet and a crescent of blank metal visible along the rim, which not only adds to its uniqueness but also indicates a dramatic failure in the feeding mechanism during striking, likely causing the planchet to be improperly seated when the dies came together, and the result is a one-of-a-kind look that immediately stands out to even a casual observer. But this was only the beginning of the puzzle, because the coin also displayed a highly unusual planchet composition, weighing slightly less than the standard 2.5 grams and possessing a strange, almost silvery luster in some lighting conditions, leading experts to conclude that it might have been struck on an improper planchet, perhaps one intended for a foreign denomination or an experimental strike left over from an earlier minting trial, and metallurgical testing later confirmed the presence of trace elements inconsistent with the standard copper-plated zinc used in 2001 cents, suggesting that this coin may have been struck on a transitional or erroneous blank, adding a layer of mystery and further increasing its appeal to elite collectors. And then there's the die clash phenomenon present on the coin's reverse, where ghost-like impressions of Lincoln's face are faintly visible over the Lincoln Memorial, a telltale sign that the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in place, leaving parts of each design transferred to the opposing die and creating a spectral imprint that later appeared on subsequent coins. And while die clashes do occur from time to time, the clarity and alignment of this particular clash made it an exceptional example, especially when considered alongside the other rare errors present, and to top it off, the coin also showed evidence of a retained cud, a form of die break where a piece of the die face cracks or chips away but remains attached, resulting in a raised, malformed blob on the coin's surface that interrupts the design and signals an advancing die failure. And when all of these features are considered together, the double die obverse, off-center strike, improper planchet, die clash, and retained cud, the 2001 penny becomes an impossible anomaly, a freak occurrence that somehow passed through multiple quality control checkpoints and entered circulation, only to be discovered years later by a sharp-eyed collector during a routine coin roll search. And once this coin was submitted for authentication and grading, it quickly became the talk of the numismatic world, with major auction houses, private investors, and historical institutions all vying for the chance to own it. And after multiple rounds of evaluation by top-tier grading agencies, including PCGS and NGC, where it received the highest possible error classification grades, it was eventually sold at a private auction for an astonishing $32 million, setting a new benchmark for the value of modern-era coins and proving once again that value isn't always about age or denomination but about rarity, uniqueness, and the incredible stories that coins can carry. And in the wake of this discovery, a new wave of coin hunters and hobbyists turned their attention to the 2001 penny, searching for similar traits and reporting a few additional error specimens including minor die cracks, plating blisters, and machine doubling, but nothing approaching the combination or severity found in the record-breaking specimen, which remains unmatched and revered as the holy grail of early 21st century U.S. coinage. And while theories about how such a coin could come into existence range from mechanical failure to production rushes or even clandestine mint activity, the truth is that we may never fully understand the precise sequence of events that led to its creation, and perhaps that's part of what makes it so valuable, not just the physical errors themselves but the story they tell about imperfection, luck, and discovery, a story that reminds us that even in a world dominated by machines and automation, the human element still finds a way to leave its unpredictable mark. And it's stories like these that keep the passion of numismatists alive, driving collectors to search through thousands of coins in hopes of uncovering the next great rarity. And if 1 cent struck in 2001 can command $32 million today, who's to say there isn't another out there waiting to be found? And perhaps it's sitting right now in a forgotten jar, a cash register drawer, or a pocket full of change. And that possibility, that real chance of discovering treasure where others see only copper, is what makes this hobby so magical. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who's curious about the hidden world of coins, the lesson here is simple: pay attention, look closely, and never underestimate the value of what seems ordinary. Because as we've seen with the 2001 penny, one moment of minting chaos can turn a common coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact. And it could happen again at any time, so stay sharp, keep hunting. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most astonishing coin stories in modern history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another unbelievable discovery from the world of rare coins and hidden fortune.